could do it, shine.
Hi guys, Daryl Shergin, Quest for Vape. Today I'm doing a review on two RTA tanks that came to me from a company named Augvape. That's Augvape. Augvape is out of Shenzhen, China. I have reviewed an RDA product of theirs a couple of months ago. That was the Druid RDA. Well, they talked about, at the time they were releasing two new tanks. These are both rebuildable tank atomizers. They both utilize a dual post, and I have the Boreas 25 millimeter, and I also have the Alleria. So these are not the same tank. They're different. They both have some unique features about them with airflow. This one looks very big and burly. I'm going to show you some up close, and then I'm going to do some builds, and then let's talk about how they vape. This is the Boreas and the Alleria from Augvape. There's their logo. And by the way, I was very impressed with the quality, machining, and design of the Druid RDA. It was a phenomenal vaping RDA. I really enjoyed that. That was from back a couple of months ago. Let's take a close-up look at both of these RTAs. First we have the Boreas, then we have the Alleria. This one's first. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Boreas. It comes in this nice packaging that a lot of sub-ohm tanks come in. You can see it has an extra glass sleeve. Some spare parts, but this is the Boreas RTA. Boreas. Material 304 food grade stainless and Pyrex glass. It's a 25 millimeter diameter, 17 millimeter huge build deck, 8 milliliter capacity. That's massive. And it comes with two decks. A 2 millimeter juice hole edition and a 2.5 millimeter juice hole edition. Okay, the 2.5 millimeter juice hole is for vaping 80 watts and up and high VG juice, and the 2 millimeter juice hole is for regular vaping. Maybe some thinner e-liquids. So we have a authenticity sticker over here. Check the security code to see if you got an authentic one. That's on the inside. Okay, so here's the tank. Look at this. It's big, it's burly, 25 millimeters. Very nice. Very nice. And just to get a perspective on that, it's going to actually overhang slightly on an IPv4S, which I believe fits 24 millimeters. Yeah. Slightly, but not terrible. That's fine. I don't mind that chubby form factor. A nice big tank, 8 milliliters of juice. That's the trade-off. And then that'll fit probably very handsomely on the Rouleau RX200. I'm going to buy another couple of these before Evolve and Joytech squabble further. Okay, so that fits really nicely. Look at how flush that fits, perfectly flush with the Rouleau. Very nice, almost like it was designed for it. Great. Okay, so this is the tank. You can see it's got this nice wide big airflow. It's kind of tight, but you know, it turns. It's also dry. The O-rings are dry. So this drip tip is removable. There's your chimney straight down the barrel. You're looking at the deck of this RTA. It is a top fill as well. I had this off last night. You can see the top fill. Okay, I'm going to need either a rubber cloth or a rubber band to get this up. It's kind of tight because it's brand new and hasn't been lubed up. Once you get a little bit of juice on there, it should be smoother. And I got serial number 361, designed by Augvape and Roxy. So it has this this base part that you unscrew, and there's that 510 is the base of the RTA. It's got this Bella style notch cut out, and then you pull the deck out, and here we have our deck. Nice 510 copper connection there. You can see juice wicking holes from below. One O-ring. 2 post design, 4 post holes. So you could do dual coil, or you could just nicely line up your coils horizontally using the bottom and the top on either side. So there's your positive and your negative. So that, get that in focus. Very nice. All right, they seem to be like angled in. I'm going to do a build on this in a minute, and there you can see your juice wicking holes at the base of the deck. So here's the inside of the tank itself. Okay, very much Aromamizer-esque, Bellis-esque, a lot of new tanks coming out. Griffin, this is meant to compete with those. Here you have your, all right, that's how juice gets from the top down to the bottom. And then, as mentioned, it is top fill. It completely disassembles. So here's our, in addition to airflow, there is juice control. So you can, yeah, we'll get, okay, interesting. So that completely disassembles. Good. You can take the whole thing apart, thoroughly clean it. I like that. Good. And there we go. So there's our parts. Here's the glass sleeve. Here's the chimney. Look at that wide, fat chimney diameter that can accommodate airflow. And again, this is stuck on there pretty good. 2 tricks to getting unstuck stuff in vaping. If you don't have these cool, like everybody gives them out. This guy was running for some bullshit. Yeah. Ooh. These thieves, but they give out some nice, okay, so you could use that, and you get the grippy, these are just like rubber textured, they're used for pulling the lids off jars, so you could do that, and you get one around one side, one around the other. Another workaround, if you don't have a couple of those, is get yourself some good rubber bands. Do you buy broccoli? Do you buy vegetables? You get these in the produce section. You get a good kung fu workout on your tendons. It's another good way to work out carpal tunnel. Strengthen up the tendons in your wrist by doing that. Okay, enough of my rambling. So you gotta fit that around there, and then that'll give you some purchase and leverage. So my one complaint is this top fill needs some knurling on it because it's kind of tight. And then how the hell do you get it off? And those rubber bands didn't even do me any good. Do not use pliers. Pliers are not going to help you. Pliers are not a vapor's best friend. Pliers will damage, they will pinch, it will distort, it will turn this from a cylinder to an oblong. Okay, so I got it going now. That's your top fill. I'm going to cheat. Before I put this back on, I'm going to give a little bit of lubrication to this. You know that VG is one of the ingredients in hand cream and moisturizers, so take your favorite e-juice, rub it in your skin, get rid of all of this ashiness. All right, I'm just joking. However, look how nice. Now, I don't have to sit there and wrestle with rubber bands. So just for the first time, and the machining on this is very nice, smooth. What was happening is this was dry and it was snugly screwed in, and that O-ring didn't have any lube on it, so for the first time it was going to give issues. But you can do that as well. This is the e-juice that I'm going to be filling the tank with. This happens to be blueberry cheesecake from Mazer Vapes. This is an awesome all-day vape for me. And now you see I don't need rubber bands. Got it? So we lubed up our O-rings. Let's go ahead. You notice there's an O-ring inside here. put the tank back together like so. And then this piece fits into there. Now I'm not sure where this little nubbin here lines up, but I guess it goes in either side of those notches. All right, and catches somewhere for this to fit snug. Okay, so you got airflow and juice control from the top chamber down to the bottom. I've seen some different products like the old Kanger Aero Mega Tank had something like that where you could close off the bottom chamber. Not so necessary, I feel like. Okay, but it may be necessary when you're filling the tank. So here's your airflow, and then as you also close off airflow, you close off juice control. So it seems like those coincide, airflow and juice flow. Maybe your thicker juices, you need more airflow, you need a wider open aperture, and that's going to give that to you. So, you can even see like right down here. There we go. So wide open airflow, wide open juice flow. Close off the airflow, close off the juice flow. Okay, that's pretty cool. I'm going to assume like in the bellows tank, if you don't close off the airflow, and then you're going to have leaking problems. So I'm going to close that off. We'll shut that down because I'm going to be filling this tank after I do the build. So, and again, this deck just fits right snugly in. Let me go ahead and give this some lube. Whenever you have nice, tight, precision machining on this, the O-rings, there's a chance before they're lubed and you get this thing vaping, there's a chance to always like cut or tear or rip or slice into those O-rings. And this tank does come with extras, but the first time you get this out of the box, wash it thoroughly, completely disassemble it, clean it with soap, get any machining oil or dirt or grit. Not that there was any noticeable, but it's a good idea to always clean all the surface area of all of your RDAs and tanks whenever you get them. It came off the assembly line. It was very clean, but you know, they all need a cleaning. Okay, enough of that. Darryl shut up about deck maintenance. So once that's done, you can fit this There we go. Okay. Here we go. Tank is assembled. I'm going to take this bottom ring off, pull my deck, and let's do a build. Let's use chubby guy over here. I'm not going to do a very sophisticated build. I'm just going to do a basic build so I can show you, and then we'll vape on it. I'm going to get fancy later on down the road. Let's look at what else comes in this box with this tank. Get a spare glass sleeve, get some parts, the user manual. How about that? User manual for Boreas RTA. The contents, the features, the parts of it, how that airflow and juice control works. Blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. Okay? Got it? Good. Now we got a bunch of O-rings, like, wow, O-rings for everything, an extra set of post screws, a hex Allen tool. Let's get that out because I'll be using that. So there we go. Very nice. Thank you for the extra post screws and O-rings. And then what's over here is the second deck. This deck has, in comparison, there's a 2mm size hole, juice wicking holes. Okay, this is the smaller. Is it the smaller? So no, these are the bigger. This is the smaller. Okay, we're going with this deck. No, we're not. I didn't wash this yet, and it smells just slightly machine oily tasting, and I'm not going to vape on that. I'm going to clean that. Okay, so but you can see, can you see the difference in the juice wicking size? The juice wicking holes are bigger on this one, 2.5 versus 2. So we'll go with this. We're going to do a very minimalist build. I'll put my extra parts away. Don't need that. Put that away. And that's so cool that it comes with an extra build deck. So if you're cloud chasing and want higher wattage, there you go. You used a high VG juice. You've got your, this is going to wick faster. Okay, we'll put that away. Very nice. And the positive is the center pin. And the positive is at an angle up. Do you see that? This one's straight up and down vertical, and it's milled right into the deck of the RTA. And this one is at a slight angle up that way, in. And that's the positive. Interesting. Okay, so let's get a couple of coils built. So 26 gauge Canthal, nothing fancy. There we go. I'm going to be doing maybe 6 wraps, maybe 8. I'm going to do 2.5 millimeter diameter. I'm going to use my Coil Master jig set because they come out perfectly every time. Let's get this stuff out of the way. This might be a long video. I'm probably going to do some time lapse. In fact, that's a good idea. Install some coils here. Lower upper. Nice. Hey, Jack. our build. Do I need it tightened up? I don't know. I don't think so. Pretty good. Pretty sweet. Okay. Okay, very nice. Perfect. With cotton bacon. Needed to cover that juice hole, so. Wicks just like an RDA. Very nice. Leaving these kind of long. This is the mess, by the way, that gets created when I'm doing these build videos. So watch this. The flavor on this is incredible. That's awesome. That was 34 watts. Let me go to 41 watts. Vapor production is nice and dense and crisp. 26 gauge Canthal, that's all I used for this. 41 watts, it's a great vape. I have 2 air holes open right now. Flavor's incredible. No problems with airflow, that's ample. With one airflow hole open, it's a little tight, a little restrictive. I wanted a little more area, I go to 2. And that was 46 watts. Let's see how high we can go. As an RTA, I usually don't get more than about 45 watts from an RTA. Flavor's incredible. It's not muted at all. Better and better. It's just nice and velvety. That juice, I'm very familiar with this juice. I vape it every day for months now. So I know how it tastes dripping. I know how it tastes in different tanks. It's a very crisp and pure flavor out of this tank, out of this RTA. Oh, it doesn't get much better than that. The flavor is rich. The vapor is nice and dense. That airflow is just right. Let me go to 3. I'm going to open it up to 3 holes. I feel that's a little too much, actually. Dilutes the flavor too much. But, you know, if I wanted to go higher wattage, I would open up those. You know what? Let's do that. At the risk of burning cotton, let's go to, that was at 60 watts, was perfect for that build. But we'll go to 70 watts. We'll open it up to 3 airflow holes. You see that adjustment? I've got 3 open. Wow, even better, wow, I'm very impressed. That's so nice. Okay, so what do I like about this? I like the build deck was massive. It was a large build deck. It didn't restrict at all towards the top. It was able to fit some coils pretty high up there. The airflow works nicely. The machining on this is very nice. The finish on it's very nice. Once you get those threads and O-rings lubricated with a little bit of e-juice, you're fine. Everything threads on nice and smoothly. And
of the Alleria RTA from Augvape. This is the packaging it comes in. It has a parts diagram and a little bit about how to install the drip tip, looks like. This is Augvape's logo. That's their logo, Augvape. And you just peel back the sticker, open the box. This is how it comes. 1 RTA, spare parts. This one has an interesting inner glass chimney, and then inside you have a user manual. User manual has, this is the contents of the complete kit. The tank, a spare outer glass sleeve, a spare inner glass sleeve, O-rings, a hex tool. Okay. And here's a nice diagram of all the parts that come with it. Cage and glass tube, top fill cap, chimney, glass chimney, cage cap, deck. Okay. Some diagrams. They're wearing some nice knit white gloves. This is how you close the juice channel by adjusting the chimney on the bottom of the deck. Take the drip tip out and the top cap from the top cap. Okay, so here's our, oh, it looks like it comes in a nice anodized black. Be careful not to unscrew the cap of the cage while you are unscrewing the top fill cap. So very interesting top fill. That inner chimney made of glass should condense flavor. And this is a 23 millimeter diameter tank, 304 stainless peak insulator top fill system compatible with 510 drip tips, glass chimney, show your build, wick, and vapor, 14 millimeter velocity style deck, juice flow control for vaping high VG juice, 3 milliliter capacity, Durlin drip tip, www.augvape.com. So there you have it. Very nice. Short, sweet, to the point, a user manual for this RTA. Okay, here's the tank. Here's your spare outer glass of the tank. Look at that nice distortion of my wide angle. And you have this inner chimney. You have a nice set of O-rings, extra grub screws for those deck post screws, and a hex Allen tool. We'll put this stuff all back. That's your spare parts. Here is the tank itself. So there's something unique going on with this drip tip, that it fits into that slot, and that slot has to do with juice flow. There's a juice flow control somewhere. All right. I don't know how that works. Let's first take a look at, oh, I got serial number 30, Alleria RTA by Augvape. And very similar to the other RTA that I just reviewed by them, a velocity style deck. So this one unscrews from the base. There was no base cap. Here's the airflow control. Look how interesting that is. Airflow control. On a slide and then stop. Doesn't spin freely in either direction. There's your juice wicking. You're gonna wick and tuck them down into these channels. Here's your wide open airflow from the bottom. Very nice. Here's your tank. It's only a 3 milliliter capacity, and there's that inner chamber. So this does completely disassemble. You can unscrew. You can see the seam here. You would unscrew this part as well. Would you like to see that? Let's go ahead and do that. But first, here's the top fill. Very similar to that Boreas. Now that unscrews. And here you have your glass inner chimney thing. So there we go. The sleeve comes out for cleaning, and also in case you break the glass, you can replace that. We'll screw this back in. I'm going to give it just a little bit of juice on the thread. Just a little bit of juice on the threads. Just to get them, I want it to screw in a little smoother. So I'm lubricating that. And the machining is very nice, very sharp. There were no burrs. Okay, so far so good. A little bit of lubricating juice and this will come off smoothly. Okay, get a little drop of juice on here. There we go. A lot of parts to this. I like the knurling on here, makes my life easier. Screwing on and off that top fill. And then here's our drip tip with that interesting slot that serves the purpose of that center chimney is going up and down. That's the juice flow control. This turns that center chimney so you can thread it all the way down or all the way up. That's your juice flow control. It's very interesting. So you're going to be able to, let's show you in close-up. I want you to look, let me direct your attention to the base here. That's where, okay. We can restrict. Do you see where the glass, I'm going to draw this up. That's for more juice. Interesting. Interesting. This chimney, I'm screwing it up. The threading allows it to rise in this direction. Now that juice flow is almost all the way open, the glass is level with that juice wicking slot right there. Now let's close it back down, and this will travel. You see the glass traveling in that direction. You can block the juice flow almost all the way entirely off. And that's completely shut. In fact, it just stopped. So this inner glass chimney surrounding the coil chamber will travel. That's unique. I have never seen that before. So there's your juice control. Whether you want, and you can tweak it to exactly where you want based on how you wick this and the type of juice and the type of wattage that you're using. Very interesting. Okay, let's do a build for this. Now that we've seen the packaging, what comes in it, the tank, how it works, this unique feature of this traveling glass inner coil housing up and down for juice control. Let's go ahead and put a build on here.
Hey guys, we're back up top. I just showed you a up-close unboxing of both of these RTAs, as well as a build video for the Boreas. Now this one, this RTA, if you want to watch the build video for this, go ahead and watch the live show that I just did. I'm going to put an annotation down below where you can watch me build this live. These are both very exciting. I'm trying to keep this video short. I have two products from Augvape, and I really want you to know each of these has some very unique qualities that are innovative to the industry. So let's talk about this one first. I am so impressed by this. This is the Alleria RTA, and that the fact that you can see inside the build, inside the chimney, you can see your coils, you can see the state of your cotton, you can even see how it's vaping, how it's wicking. But aside from being curious, it's so important to know what's going on with an RTA, especially if you're new into this. What's the condition of my coil inside? Now you can see it. Aside from that, it is very unique to have this adjustable juice flow control from your drip tip and be able to regulate how much or how little juice you want flowing into that chamber, and also to see whether your cotton is wicking properly, whether it's dry, whether it's wet. This is the first time you can really see, okay, I built it, I wicked it, how's it performing? Let me visually inspect that. And then you can see how it performs with different wicking, thicker, thinner, different coil diameters, different juice that you use. More important than any of that, the vape on this is delicious. This is an incredibly flavorful vape. I've got nice airflow adjustment here that's smooth, great precision in design. Congratulations, Augvape, you truly have made something that did not exist before. This is its own design. I love it. This juice I'm very familiar with. I'm vaping, I should show you. This is a blueberry cheesecake by Mazer Vapes, and I buy it in 120 size bottles because I vape it so much, and I usually go through about 2 to 3 of these bottles a month. It's my all-day vape. I love that profile. It's not over heavy. Okay, this is not a juice review, but put it this way. I drip it, I vape it in tanks, on stock coils, in RTAs. I know that juice at every wattage, in every different device, and this is probably the best I've ever tasted that juice. And it's just such a nice, robust, dense vape. It's perfectly moist. I'm vaping right now at 50 watts on this. Now, if I built bigger coils, thicker coils, wider diameter coils, higher or lower gauge, if I wicked it different, it's going to change the flavor of the vape. But you can really see inside here to see what's this build doing, how does it taste, how can I tweak that in different ways to really, really dial in my vape. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Complete control of how I want my flavor to be in my vape. Now this one, let's talk about this big, bad, burly one. First of all, it sits perfectly flush on my Relo RX200. Very nice. I like that. The 25 millimeter fatty tank holds 8 milliliters of juice. It's fantastic. Both of these are top fill, by the way, with nice wide top fill slots. Thank you very much. Neither of them has leaking issues. They're perfectly fine. I've only been vaping them on them for a day, but so far so good. I'm very impressed. I love the size of this tank, the form factor on my Relo. I love the 8 milliliter capacity. More important than any of that, I love the vape on this. It's an incredible, intense vape at 80 watts. And I'm using the deck that has the 2 millimeter size juice wicking holes. I plan on building out the 2.5 millimeter juice wicking hole size deck over there, and then alternating between the two. So if I want to vape above 80 watts, I'll pull this deck out, put that deck in, and just vape it. That's nice. All in one device. Nice versatility, quality design. I really feel that you nailed it on this. The airflow and juice flow being the same, that's so smart. So if you're using less airflow, you don't need as much juice flow, and the two correspond. That's very smart. On one hole, you have one airflow hole, you have a nice mouth to lung restrictive draw. For your folks that want a big tank capacity, don't necessarily want to do super cloud chasing, super sub ohm. Then you can go ahead, if you want a more aggressive build, 2 airflow holes open is a nice vape. That's a good airy draw. It's a perfect balance of tightness and airflow. And that chimney is very wide. That chimney can handle legit, like these 3 airflow holes open, and you get way more airflow. For a much more intense vape, for a build that may be hotter, for Clapton coils, for other types of coils where you're going to need that airflow and you're going to need more juice flow for higher VG juice. Wide open, all 4 holes opened up. It's a little too airy for me on this build, but I could see how that will be very effective with the bigger build deck, the wider juice wicking holes. I'm going to enjoy exploring the ranges above 80 watts on this tank and not have to fill it every 20 minutes, because 8 milliliters is a good sized capacity on an RTA. So overall, Augvape, I think you just hit 2 home runs right here. Phenomenal. I'm very impressed. You did a nice job on that Druid RTA. I really like that. It's a fine quality RTA. You just made 2 fine quality RTAs. Flavor, awesome. Uniqueness, the control of your vape that you can get from being able to see in there. Okay, I said everything I need to say about these. They're fantastic and they're affordable. Under 50 bucks. I think $32 is the price we saw online for the Alleria, and I don't know what the Boreas is going to cost, but probably less than 50 bucks as well. Two quality vapes right there. Thank you very much for watching my channel. If you want to see the live build and maybe some more discussion on both of these RTAs, watch the live show that I did, and I'll annotate right below. Quest for Vape, thank you for watching.